Okay, what we have here is a Toshiba L355D. So what we're going to do is turn it on and see what happens. And we get it turning on. We have the battery charge light, the power light, and the power in, but we have no hard drive. Now we can press the enter button. If it had a video screen problem, most likely it would go in advance past that. But what we're going to do is take and test this system, take it apart, and see what we can find as far as an issue with it, and see if we can't get some kind of idea of what's going on with it. And that's what we're going to do here now. Okay, what we've done is a basic test that we do with all of our systems. We took the door off and we noticed that we have a 2 gig stick and a 1 gig stick of RAM, but it's PC6400. So we replaced it out with a 512 because we know that the rate of failure of a 512 is extremely low, while the rate of failure for a 2 gig is double that of a 1 gig, and they're both pretty high. So what we're going to do is take this system and plug it in, turn it on, and see what we find. We have the lights, we have everything going on, and we actually have initialization. So we've went into the BIOS, and we find that it's a dual core system, and it does show the 512. So we know that our error lies with one of the 2 sticks of RAM. So what we're going to do is F10 to save this and exit, and see if we can't boot it into Windows and see where it goes. So we have everything booting up, and we're going to start and see where we could go with this. Most likely we're going to get an actual Windows boot and everything to go along with it. Now, with that being said, as a precaution, because this has an ATI chipset on it and a dual-core Turion, what we're going to do is take and reflow it anyways. We're going to tear it apart and do that just so that it doesn't run into any problems later on. But most likely our issue lies with either one of these sticks of RAM, if not both of them. So we're going to let this boot up and go from there with our testing and our diagnostics. But like I said, the error lies with the actual memory. Before, I've stated in videos, and I'll state it again in this one, you can have 3 issues: processor, RAM, and video chipset. All 3 of them are essential boot process components, and they all have to be in good working order for the system to turn on. If the system has a bad stick of memory, it's going to act just like a reflow. If you have a bad processor, it's going to act just like a reflow. And so what happens is 2 gig sticks, AMD processors, and NVIDIA chipsets, they all go hand in hand to act exactly the same, no matter what the issue is. So that also goes to state the fact that if you reflow one and you have an issue with it, that you can almost track it back to a processor or a stick of memory that caused you to have that issue after the fact. So our hard drive's running on this one, and it's still booting up. But that's something to keep in mind when you're actually working on it or doing diagnostics on one. You have to keep in mind that if you're if you send a bare board in for somebody to work on, and you put old components in, it acts exactly the same. The first inclination is that the reflow did not take. And that's not necessarily true, because you can test it with shop components, shop adapters, shop power jacks, and everything like that, even processors and memory, and everything checks out good. But if you don't include the processor in your memory, you'll never get past that. You may have a bad component, and what it's going to do is cause it to fail. So keep in mind when you send one in also that could be an issue that you're going to run into. But nonetheless, what we have here is an actual working system that we're going to take apart and reflow it, and then go from there and see what happens. So we'll call this one done for right now, except for maintenance and precautionary repairs that we're going to do. Okay, so what we have is a booted system. Everything looks like it's up and running. And what we're going to do is say this thing's done. Of course, we'll take it apart and reflow it, but for right now, we're just going to say that this is the end. It's up and running. We'll figure out which stick of memory is bad and then replace it out, and that'll be that. So this one's done.